Welcome back. Well, hundreds of people are blatantly defying lockdown regulations by gathering in eNCA. Level 4 restrictions specifically prohibit crowds of more than 100 outdoors. But this hasn't stopped supporters of former President Jacob Zuma. Many say they're willing to die for him. So for more on this, we're joined now by police spokesperson Vish Naidoo, joins us from KZN. Vish, always a pleasure speaking to you. Obviously, when we're looking at the situation in eNCA, according to Level 4 regulations, gatherings are not permitted under level 4 of lockdowns as we're dealing with the third wave of a COVID-19 pandemic. Are you aware that there is a gathering of many people, hundreds, in eNCA?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Faith, and very good evening to you. Yes, we are aware of what is taking place. We have been viewing what has been happening progressively at eNCA in a very serious light. There's currently, as we speak, investigations underway into those that have orchestrated these gatherings, and I assure you that very decisive steps are going to be taken against these people. We view, like I said, we view this very, very seriously. We're in the midst of the third wave, in which we are seeing ever increasing infection rates taking place in the country as a whole, and we cannot allow it to continue. So we also going to be
Yeah, Vish, if I may interject, if I may. I mean, you're saying that this cannot be allowed to continue, Vish, but people have been gathering since this morning, which means that hours have been spent. Instead of you being able to enforce the law or getting SAPS to enforce the law, it has allowed the situation now to subside where there were hundreds of people earlier. So when you speak about how you're going to get to the bottom of this, is this not an opportunity missed? Were you not supposed to get to the bottom of this in the afternoon or even earlier in the morning when people were gathering and they were not even wearing even masks?
I don't want to get into the details and the technicalities of what has been happening. But the manner in which they started gathering couldn't warrant the action by the police, because they divided themselves into twos and threes and separated themselves. So I was hoping not to get into that technicality of it. But now that we know and we can see what is happening and that there is clear flouting of the disaster management regulations, we're going to be taking decisive action.
Well, Vish, on your screen right now, I just want to
we don't have a repetition.
Yeah, just to say, on your screen right now, we're showing visual images of a large number of people gathering, including former President Jacob Zuma, who is amongst the crowd. That in itself is a visual representation of what's happening in eNCA, or what was happening earlier. You're saying that you're going to get to the bottom of those who orchestrated it. Who orchestrated this?
When we're ready to highlight exactly what is going to be done and against whom, we will do it then. It'll be a bit premature and possibly even a bit irresponsible to talk about that without having acted first.
Do you know, though, who orchestrated this gathering of people? Does your intelligence tell you?
Yeah, sorry for talking over you. I didn't realize you were still talking. Our investigations are quite advanced since we started it, around midday to this afternoon. We are in quite an advanced stage, and I'm hoping, or should I say, I'm rather confident that by tomorrow morning we should have a more decisive answer as to who would be held to account for what is going on.
So you're talking about being held to account, Vish. Will you be enforcing any arrests? Will anybody be getting arrested as a result of flouting lockdown regulations?
Call to account can be one of many things. Remember, the Disaster Management Act regulations makes provisions for fines and or arrest. So that's why I use the word call to account, because I cannot tell you right now exactly what the outcome will be. The SAPS is responsible for opening the case, investigation of the case, but the penal provisions, that will be left to the court, and also depending on what the law states, we will act according to what the law states.
Vish, my reporters were out in eNCA, and they've been literally going through and just looking and sifting through the crowds, as Faith as well as eNCA. And I must say to you, when they say to us, the public, that there was no police presence in sight for even the 4 hours that our reporters were there, it says something about perhaps the capacity of the police. Do you guys have capacity to contain the situation?
Well, every situation is being treated on its own merit. And we are guided by risk assessments, the threat assessments, as well as the patterns that are taking place. And as we see that there's potential for this to increase unprecedentedly, then we increase our capacity. So we are dividing our capacity throughout the country. Here we can see there's potential for this to grow to greater heights. And we are dealing with it that way. So we
Vish,
are going
but you're not answering the question, Vish.
That is required for that particular threat. Yes.
Yeah, but you're not answering the question. My initial question to you is, do you have the capacity? Do you have the capacity to enforce the law?
We have the capacity to enforce. Sorry, Faith, you must remember this lockdown started in March last year. And the South African Police Service is not working alone. We've never worked alone since the enforcing of the disaster management regulations. We work closely with other law enforcement agencies. In the beginning, it was inclusive of the SANDF, which is playing a supporting role now. They're not physically with us, but we have traffic departments, your Metro Police, the National Traffic Police, as well as the Provincial Traffic Police, Provincial Traffic, that are assisting us, that's augmenting our capacity to deal with this. When you talk about capacity, it's not the SAPS alone, but it is this joint security forces.
Yeah, Vish, but then also it's an opportunity missed. Hey, we've got law enforcement where law was not enforced earlier today. I'm hoping that you would, by tomorrow, as you said, according to intelligence, have gotten to the bottom of this. Police spokesperson Vish Naidoo now giving us the latest on that matter. The response from the SAPS, they say they've got capacity to deal with the situation and that they are still investigating. What the investigation will yield still is yet to be determined. But let's stay with this matter.